During the online retreat, you were talking about choosing the voice of truth over the voice of ego, God's will over mine. So if you could talk specifically about ability to recognize that voice of truth.
As such, you're looking for that voice which is able to move the direction of your life from being based on wanting to being based on pure will. The pure will, that is that voice of love. There's a journey to be made where your willingness to do your best in navigating according to that which is best for everything will lead your way ahead. So the voice of God through you gets to be exactly where that drop of consciousness lands gently into. To be able to allow that happens through a maturation of your spirit, basically. And the spiritual maturation, in the beginning, it can be hard to tell the difference between that which is selfish and that which is selfless. But the only way to dance with that is to be willing to walk with the authority of what you hear inside. And when I say it like this, it's because there might be a big difference to start with. But the more that you walk with yourself, the more the walls around that separated self, they get knocked over and knocked over and knocked over. The question itself comes from an attempt to figure out how this works. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're talking specifically about this landing of the smaller self into the bigger self, yeah? Then actually the only way to walk ahead is basically fearlessly, in a way where you do not forget your humility, and yet you stand strongly with the authority of yourself and with a willingness to allow that listening to bring you the teachings that will give you this when actually it's the wrong voice. Or when, not even wrong voice, because there is no wrong voice, but there is a voice where a deeper surrender is needed. And then there is that voice where it's just love in action, yeah? Just love in movement. So these two aspects are waiting to meet through your willingness to move without thinking. And that doesn't mean to just completely turn your head off, there's no rational anything. It just means that the rationality moves to the level of the heart. That journey requires a fearlessness of being willing to walk alongside taking the consequence of being you. And when I say taking the consequence of being you, I both mean that from a greatly elevating side and from a deeply painful side. Because those places where you're not clear, the willingness to walk through the teachings of these places appearing, to walk into the situations, to admit humbly your own imperfection, when that is the case, that will actually make your dance with this life clearer and cleaner and clearer and cleaner and clearer and cleaner. And that goes actually on every level of your existence. We have to be willing to meet what we are as love, but to be able to meet it as love, we also have to be willing to acknowledge the places where we are identified and to surrender those. So it sounds very complex, but the reality of it is that actually you don't need to know how it works for it to work. What you need to deal with is right now, with the highest and deepest level of yes to love that you are capable of in every moment. And that also means loving the parts of yourself which does not love. It's not the same as acting them out or giving them energy. It's the same as doing like this around them. Of being kind to yourself. You wanted to say something?
On many occasions, I see in myself, I know what to do, but I don't have courage and I don't have resolve to do so, or I'm just trying to grasp to find what's the next step, what's that guidance, that divine guidance. So that's both of them are obviously it's something that needs to be practiced on a moment-to-moment basis.
Definitely. This is the practice of your life, you know? The practice of your life. And there are different aspects within what you're saying. It's like to be able to recognize the truth. You need to be willing to be straight. You need to acknowledge and move forward on a call for truth. When you call for truth, you will recognize truth. The strength of your resolve, the strength of your dedication to truth is also that which will grow through your listening and move you ahead. So while it can seem like there are strong choices to be made in the beginning, along the way it will become quite effortless. All of these aspects of you, they will be dancing like this. Yeah. Until then, for instance, this that you say with the courage, if you don't find courage in that moment, then it's about flicking from the being buried in the fear to being compassionate with yourself, being compassionate with the one who is afraid, being present with. And that kind of dissolves, and then it's just the capacity rising again. And then again, once again you move ahead. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And you know, it may seem like if we look at the levels of like the planet and its state and each other and so on and so forth, and even like ourselves and our own lives, it can seem like there is a rush, there is a hurry, there is like urgency. But this moment here now, and you doing your best to allow truth to be born, in every moment, there is that listening will allow for fluctuation between an exhale and an inhale, like an inhalation and exhalation. What I'm saying here is that in one moment, life will grab you by the neck and, and lead you, like, now it's time. And then your life moves a lot. And then it may be time for your human to catch up on some levels, and you may feel like you don't have courage or something, but then again, if you are literally moving your life ahead on a dedication to truth, then you can actually trust that every moment is a moment of some kind of maturation on some level. It's like there is a constant dance between all of the different planes of existence, all of the different levels of life. And there is also that level where we're taking responsibility. But on one level, it's like our responsibility is to love. And when we are able to move ahead with love, then that's what's going on. And when we're not able to move ahead with love, then it's because we need to love ourselves. So love is constantly like, where is it right now? What is it right now in the equation that needs the love? Is it a deeper compassion for ourselves? Is it a moving forward with whatever life is like? Because I think we all know that, like, push when life like whoa, now it's happening, and then like a lot of things happen in a short time. Yeah. So in a way, it's like the more we can surrender into the trust of life happening, the more we can relax with the reality of our smallness when that's what's apparent, relax with our actions when that's what's going on, the more we basically can relax with all parts of life without struggling against any part or favoring any part, the more life can happen in a way which is devoid of our own suffering as human beings, our own causing of sufferings to other beings. So there's like even if we can speak about the responsibility, we can speak about all these different levels, all apparent, like, where are you in the equation when you're speaking? Like, is it the someone who thinks that something is being done, or like, where are we in the equation right now? And how deeply can we surrender that somebodiness in a way which doesn't remove me, but allows the birth of a truer me, which can allow the naked vulnerability in the middle of walking the way. In this way, seems like the fight is over right now. That it isn't about you getting somewhere before you can give up the struggle. Because the struggle itself is a disagreement with some aspect of the movement of your life. So the struggle itself, the struggle that you have with anything, is a struggle with yourself. And inside of that, the more you can surrender that struggle, and that doesn't mean to collapse or sit back or something, that's on a bodily level, what's going on. But the more that you can surrender yourself to that listening which determines what is going on, the less suffering you will be causing yourself. That doesn't mean there won't be losses. That doesn't mean there won't be pains to meet. That doesn't mean anything other than you will be able to meet all aspects of your journey with a relaxation which allows you to stay on the way rather than jump on and off it. And this is very much where we are in that struggle, yeah? That allows you to give up the contraction, which lies at the base of thinking that you are the doer, which is that guy, that part of you which is asking me, do I do like this or do I do like that? What do I do? Yeah? Gives way for something a lot more soft for you, on your way.